It was Tuesday, October 25th, a damp, overcast morning. I was awakened for the morning by the constant chatter of my parents as they paced between the gallery and the hall, peeping through the creases and the lone glass window in the house to catch a glimpse of the ominous sun in the sky that kept circling. As day broke and the sun rose, everything seems to reveal itself. Yards were filled with pamphlets instructing us to stay indoors. The sky cleared, and for the first time, Grenadians saw a large gray plane, the AC-130 gunship, continuing its mission and flying around and around. In typical Grenadian style, people christened the plane the Mako. At 6 a.m., Radio Free Grenada started broadcasting. The broadcaster informed the nation that our country was invaded by foreign forces and urged the population to resist the American invaders. Block all roads, he said. Come out in your numbers with hoes, fork, spade, and cutlasses. Come out and defend your homeland. In the midst of all that, Papoose the neighbor shouted to my parents, "The war start!" The radio soon fell silent. With no phones, no cellular phones, nor social media, the news spread like wildfire. From back door to front door and from window to window, that a man of war stayed outside in the sea and fired a rocket and mashed up the radio station. Or indeed, it was a plane that bombed the station and killed everybody in it. But after the invasion, Grenadians started calling the radio announcer Block All Roads. The war had indeed started. The Cuban and Grenadian soldiers fired their anti-aircraft artillery at the Mako, but it returned the fire and destroyed battery after battery and just kept flying around and around day and night. The shock created by the disastrous event of October 19th, 1983, that initiated the invasion was transformed into great fear in the hearts and minds of the people. For the first time in our lives, we saw helicopters, warplanes, warboats, and warships, tanks, and thousands of strange looking soldiers all over the place. Grenadian stone athletes, we running from everything and everybody that we saw. The fighting was intense in some areas, and by Grenadian standards, a large number of people lost their lives. Civilians, Americans, Cubans, and Grenadian soldiers. To some extent, we had become accustomed to maneuvers staged by the PRA, but nothing really prepared us for the devastating results of armed conflict. War is full of contrasts and oxymorons. The fighting is meant to bring peace, and the killing is done to save lives. To this day, I still reflect on how noisy war can be, but equally amazed at the profound period of silence that often interrupted firefights and exploding bombs. It is very much like the passing eye of a hurricane. When you think it is all over, the ruction suddenly starts all over again without warning. It is often said Grenadians are a unique bunch of people. While they will run from rain, they were looting during the invasion. They say a little confession is good for the soul. One day, we were told to evacuate. On our way to safety, we met some people in a large warehouse helping themselves. They say the Americans say to take. I ain't lying. I helped myself too, with several tins of ideal evaporated milk and a lot of other things that I really can't remember now. Boy, I didn't know a little boy could have take loads so. On my way out of the warehouse, I met two little girls who were too timid to enter the building. I gave them a few tins of milk. I later learned that one of them name was Anne and the other was Lynette. They were always appreciative of my generosity, and we became friends when we grew up. As I reflect on my experiences and the changes that that traumatic event had, after all these years, I can still hear them PRA singing. Tell Cowboy Reagan the AK speaking Spanish and let them come, we will bury them in the sea. I thank you.